Hello and welcome everybody to the 10th episode of the CreaLienDesign Podcast. My name is Eline and you can find me on Instagram, Ravelry and Etsy as CreaLienDesign. And welcome to my podcast. This is a podcast about knitting, spinning and other fiber craft related stuff. So welcome everybody. This is my 10th episode like I said, and I cannot really I can't believe it. The first few episodes were from 2 years ago, and then I made a few episodes and I stopped. I don't really know why. I think I just didn't like doing it anymore or something. So last year I picked it up again, and here we are. And last episode is about a month ago, and over the past month I had a lot of stuff to do for school. And when that was over, I had a lot of time for crafting, and I did like everything you can think of. So this is, oh, I'm sorry, but there was something on my screen. But today is really full. The table is filled with stuff that I'm going to show you, that I'm going to talk about. I have my notebook because I cannot remember it all. So I'm gonna have to look down every now and then. Today I'm not wearing anything I made myself. This is just a store-bought sweater. Yeah, it's a really nice one. It's nice and warm. And I like it. I wish I only had handmade, hand-knit stuff, hand knit sweaters, but I don't. I need to finish more stuff to be able to have I think I have enough sweaters on the needle somewhere to be able to have an only hand knit sweater closet, but as you might know by now, I'm not good at finishing stuff, usually, except for this episode. No, I have store-bought sweaters, but I'm gonna start right away because I have so much stuff to show you. Okay, let's start with my knitting finished objects. Which are quite a few. Okay, let's start with this one. It's the Flax baby sweater by Tincanknits. You can find the pattern free on Ravelry. And it's a very simple top-down baby raglan with a garter ridge on the sleeves. And it's a really fun knit, and I really like this color. I followed the 0 to 6 months pattern. No newborn baby will fit this. It turned out the size from the pattern, and my gauge was spot on, but it's more like maybe 2 to 6 months, but not 0 to 6 months. But I love it, and I'm thinking about maybe, because the pattern doesn't have a front or a back, it's just all the same, and I think it would be nice to have some detail that shows you what's the front and what's the back. So I was thinking maybe putting in one of those handmade leather tags. This one is I bought this on Etsy, I think. Genuine Workshop? No idea. If you look for leather handmade tags on Etsy, you'll find some. And maybe maybe I can put one here. I think that would be nice. Oh, it's shiny. Yeah, more like that. Or I have a cotton handmade tag that I can sew in the inside of the neck, maybe. Would be nice too. I don't know. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna put in one of those, but yeah, cute sweater. It's a really fun, sorry, my nose itches. It's a really fun pattern to knit. It's very simple. It's doable. If you're a beginner knitter and you have never knit a top-down raglan or a sweater at all, I highly recommend this one. You can do, if this is too much for you, you can do it without the garter ridge edges. I knit this out of a store out of yarn from a local store. I think it's only in the Netherlands and Belgium. It's called Zeeman. It's just a cheap store where they have all kinds of stuff. And it's called Julia. It's only $1.99, so it's very cheap. And it's 80% acrylic and 20% wool. It's 100 gram and 170 meters. I used 109 grams so for this sweater. So just not one skein, a little more than one skein. But so I have quite a bit left over, but yeah, I will probably, I don't know, I can make something out of this. And it's really beautiful. It's light gray, and you cannot really see it, I think, but it's a light gray with darker gray heather. I don't know, it's a bit of a heathered look. It's really pretty. So I knit it as the pattern suggested on 4 and 5 millimeter needles, the body, but then for I knit the sleeves on double pointed needles, and my gauge is a lot tighter on double pointed needles, so I went up to 4.5 and 5.5 millimeter needles. Yeah, I like it a lot. It's cute. You know, I knit this and I showed it to my boyfriend, and he was like, "You cannot give that. You cannot give it away to someone. That's for us when we have kids later. You know, you need to keep that. You cannot give it away." Okay. I wasn't going to, because I don't have anyone near me that's having kids right now, but I won't give it away. I promise. So, that's the first finished object. Well, yeah, I can just let it here. Then I was on a finishing objects parade. Well, no, I don't know. I was finishing all the stuff that I had laying around, finishing whips. So let me get into that. The first whip I actually finished. I finished this one the latest, but who cares? Who cares? The first thing I finished were these socks. Well, as you can see, these are on my improvised carbon sock blockers, cardboard sock blockers that are made out of cardboard. These socks, the yarn was gifted to me by my boyfriend's mother over Christmas, or a day before Christmas or something. She had this in her stash and I could have it. And it was actually, let me check it, Opal. Yeah, I thought it was Opal already, but it's the colorway 8901. If you're interested, it was 52 grams, so 221 meters. And as you can see, I don't need a lot of yarn to knit socks. I usually knit only if I have a skein of 50 grams, then 50 grams is enough. People always say, yeah, you need at least two skeins of 50 grams of sock yarn to be able to knit a pair of socks. But as you can see, you don't. This is 52 grams. I have to say I used all of the 52 grams. This is all I had left. Not a lot, right? I just did my basic toe up sock pattern that I always use. I knit my socks on 3 millimeter needles, toe up, short row heel, and then I knit up. But I did them 2 at a time, not on a circular needle, because I hate that. I officially hate it. Officially. There's no going back to that ever again. So, okay. Yeah. So double pointed needles, and I just knitted them both first the toe on this one, then the toe on this one, the foot on this one, foot on this one, heel on this one, heel on this one, and then the legs, and then the cuff. And I know from experience how much yarn my nose still itches. How much yarn I need for to be able to bind off. I just need to wrap it 6 times very loosely around my hand, like this, and then that's exactly what I need to bind off. So I could just knit. Even in the end, I added half a row on each of them because I knew I would have enough yarn to do the bind off. And this is what I have left. So perfect, right? Perfect. As you can see, I have worn them quite a lot already. They're starting to pill. I finished them early in January, and I've been wearing them ever since. So yeah, I like them a lot. I like them. Such happy colors. Yeah, happy socks. These are happy socks. Not the happy socks from the store. Some of them are happy socks, but these are actually happy socks. Yeah. Okay. Then on to the next pair. I have finished. Sorry, it's full. I have finished my Mondriaan socks. You know the artist Piet Mondriaan? The artist that, well, these are not on sock blockers, but you can see how they are. The artist that only works with red and yellow and blue and white and black. Well, you can see why I call them my Mondriaan socks. It's, well, I have worn these too, so there's cat's hair on them. But these are out of my handspun yarns. I needed these in the car on our way to Christmas. Oh, there's quite a lot of hair and stuff. On our way to my boyfriend's parents in Germany, while he was driving, I was knitting these because these I could knit in the dark. You know, it's just in the round. So I didn't have a lot of yarn. This is all the yarn I had. I put in contrasting heels and toes, and this is all I had left over. So it's a good thing I did contrasting heels and toes because they are shorty socks, and if I would not have done contrasting heels and toes, they would have been like, they would have ended at the heel. I think so. Unwearable, and now they are wearable. This yarn was 100% merino, and I can use them for socks because 1, I am not hard on my socks at all, and 2, I spun them at a very high twist, and it's not soft at all. You wouldn't think this is merino if you touch it. This is one of my earlier spins. One of the first things I spun on my wheel, I think, and I believe it's the first Rolex I ever made. I think so, something like that. The yarn was, I had 56 grams of yarn and only 117 meters. You can imagine with a sock yarn that is around, if you have 50 grams of sock yarn, you have around 200 meters. This was 56 grams and was only 117 meters, so it's 25 grams of sock yarn basically. And you see, you can easily knit a pair of socks out of it. Okay, I only have size 37. That's a UK size 4 or 4.5, I believe. But I have a small size, but still. I knit these, it's a DK weight. Yeah, light DK weight. But because I knit them in the car, I knit them on this circular, very small circular needle, the short one, in 3 millimeters. But I did the heels and the cuffs on double point needles because I don't like using these, but these you can use without looking. So I used these in the car because we had to drive when it was dark outside, and the highway in Germany don't have lighting, so they are dark, and I could only every now and then see something when we went past the truck, and when we were in their headlights I could see like, oh yeah, I know where I am now. So this is my second pair for this year. For the contrasting heels and toes, I use this also some merino yarn that I spun over twisted in my early spinning days. But it's perfect for the heels. Like, I like these socks. They are fun. They are weird. Very weird. But they are fun. I like them. So, and then I have another pair of finished socks. I told you I have a lot to show you. And those are also hand-spun socks and were also started over Christmas or a few days after or before Christmas, around Christmas. I don't remember from my head. I have it in my Ravelry, so if you want to look it up, that's fine. These are just like my Mondriaan socks. They were not on 3mm needles in the round, and when I go, there's a cat hair, and once I go to my double pointed needles, I go to a 3.25 because my gauge is a lot looser on these than on the double points. And I was going to say something and I don't remember what. Probably not important. Anyway, I have these finished. I showed these as a project last time. No. Maybe yeah. I don't know anymore. I don't remember. These are out of handspun yarn that I spun from a blended top from SpinCity UK. And it contains merino. The black fiber was alpaca in natural black. And there's some Angelina and I believe tencel. Yeah, the white shiny stuff is tencel, and the Angelina you cannot really see, or maybe here a bit. I didn't wear these yet, so these look good. Oh yeah, you can see some sparkle. Yeah, well, it's a violet sparkle, and I don't know how I feel about these. I like that they are hand spun. I like the purple sparkles a lot. I like the places where the pink is very bright with the white or with the blue, but I don't like black. I do like the black in the other socks. I don't like the black in this because I don't like black with green and I don't like black with purple, and those combinations are in here. But they are fun, you know, they are fun socks and they are nice and warm. Oh, I remember what I wanted to say. I knit them on 44 stitches. Only 44 stitches in the round. So they go pretty quickly, you know. Those are some fast knitted socks. Yeah, so this pair from SpinCity UK in the Nebula colorway. And these were the same thickness of yarn as these, and these were 56 gram and 117 meters. These were 100 grams, and how many meters did I have? 170. So that's why I didn't have to do a contrasting heel, and the cuffs are quite long. So let me show you all my finished socks. Well, these are a bit difficult. Wait, let's do this. Yeah. Oh, we don't want any leftover yarns here. Doesn't it look good? Socks look good on me, don't they? Yeah, happy. So. Oh, and the yarn I had left over from that last one is this. So I could have done a few stitches more on each sock, but I was like, no, I'm just gonna bind off. I don't care about 5 more stitches per sock. I mean, who does, right? So look from close up how pretty it is. Oh yeah, now you can see the sparkle. Yeah, there we go. With some pink in there. Yeah, okay, so enough of this. Then, what are we going to talk about next? My knitting works in progress. Okay, oh yeah, I'm working on something I'll tell you about later. Okay, let's start with this one. It's living in my handmade, my first weaving project bag. And these are some socks that actually I might finish them today, because they are very nearly finished. This is sock number 1. The pattern is the Leyburn socks pattern on Ravelry, and it's a free pattern if you type in Leyburn, Leyburn socks, then you'll find them. They're difficult to see because their picture is very dark blue. I believe it was blue. A very dark color where you cannot see the stitches. But there aren't too many Leyburn socks, right? Okay, and this is sock number 2. So, as you can see, they're nearly done. Let me take it out. Over here. I'm gonna talk about this later. Yeah. This one only needs 10 more rows of ribbing, and then it's done. Look how pretty they are. Oh, the back. This pattern, it's so pretty. Look. It's so pretty. And this yarn, I love it so much. I bought this yarn in Riga on a city trip in 2015. I started these socks on that same city trip in 2015. Oh, the stitch markers are made by me, by the way. Look how fun they are. Super bright little stars. Anyway, in 2015, the 6th of May in 2016 is when these were started, and they ended up in my sock whips basket upstairs. And I was like finishing all the stuff, so I took them out right after Christmas. I took them out and worked on them, and I believe I've shown them in the podcast before, because the reason they ended up in the whip basket was because I did something wrong with the heels. I was gonna put in an afterthought heel, and I marked the spot wrong. So I was gonna put in an afterthought heel somewhere around here. Yeah, somewhere around here, I think. And that would have made my socks way too small for me. And I didn't feel like undoing the whole thing. I had put in a contrasting yarn, so it wasn't like I could do an afterthought heel somewhere else. No, it had to be there. So what I did was, one of the socks was finished and the other one was just around here, and I took them both out to that heel point, took out the waste yarn and just knitted up with just a short row heel put in here. And I really love how these are coming out. I really love them. The colors, they show up really, yeah, how do you say it? Like muted, but they are very bright. And you can see it in close up. I don't know about the pattern. I only, the actual knitting pattern for these socks, because I only used the stitch pattern. The pattern was free to download, and I just used it for the stitch pattern. It's an 8-row repeat, and it's really simple. It's just with strands. You just knit a stitch, and you have a strand over 5 stitches, and you knit a stitch, and you slip 5 stitches with the yarn in front, and you knit a stitch, and you slip 5 stitches with the yarn in front. Then you knit a row, and the next row you pick up that loose strand in the front, and that creates this really fun pattern. I have to say, I'm going to be really happy when these are done, because I'm done with them. I love them very much, but I'm done knitting them. Yeah. So 10 more rows of ribbing. I think, yeah, I can finish these today or some other day. The yarn is beautiful. It's Long Yarns Mille Colori socks and lace in the colorway 87.0055. And I bought this as a souvenir in Riga, in Latvia, when I was there on a city trip with my friend. And it was the weirdest trip ever. It was like a trip. The city trip turned into a trip. It was amazing. We had a great time. Just because of the travels. The city itself is like, yeah, it's fun, but the travel, maybe I'll tell it next time. The whole story, if you're interested, at the end of the podcast, when I finish these socks, when I can show them, because it's a really fun story. Every time I think about it, I'm gonna laugh so hard, because it was crazy. Then my next project that I'm working on is another pair of socks. Well, it is a sock. I'm knitting it out of this yarn, which is very old and very ugly. It's Sport and Strumpfwolle. It's 100 grams. I don't think it's being produced anymore. The colorway is 0037. And it's a purple. Yeah. I had bought this yarn when I was around, I think, 15 years old, something like that. I was into crocheting a lot. I didn't knit a lot, and it was before it was around when I started to become more serious about my yarn stuff, but I didn't know a lot about it. So I bought this yarn at a local market, and I thought, well, yeah, I'm gonna crochet that into a nice hat or something, or into a blanket, or, you know, I had no clue. And once I started crocheting with it, of course it turned out really ugly because it's a heavily variegated yarn with very short stripes. And it turned out so ugly, so I frogged it and put it away, and then at some point I wanted to make something with it, but crocheting with this yarn is ugly. And I didn't know about the thickness of the yarn, fingering weight or worsted weight. It was all the same in my opinion. You could use the same hook for it, same crochet hook for it, and anything. So this yarn has been in my stash. I think it's my oldest sock yarn that I had in my stash. But for some reason it just got into my head and I wanted to knit socks out of it. Because I was using my stash and I just wanted to use this yarn. I wanted to see how it knit up. So I started to sock with it, and it's turning out super ugly. It seriously is ugly, but for some reason I still want to knit it. It's okay. I'm gonna warn you. It's the ugliest sock you have ever seen. It's doing some sort of pooling, but not really. Broken pooling. I don't know. I've put in the heel, I've turned the heel. Yeah. Well, that's my sock. My work in progress. And I am working on it, actually, because for some weird reason, it interests me, and I'm knitting it. I'm knitting it. Not much more to say about it. It's ugly. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, by the way, if you're interested in my needles, because I have these needles in all these fun colors. I don't know if you saw it before. Yeah, you should have seen it probably. Blue and red and, you know, all these colors. These are Addi Colibri needles, if you're interested. I like these a lot. These are my favorite needles because of the colors, of course. That's very important to me, but also because they have a blunt point on one side and a sharp point on the other side. Oh, you see, this point is sharp and this point is blunt. So it really depends on the yarn you're using, the yarn I'm using, what I prefer. But they are very lightweight, which is something I really like, because if you're knitting on small pieces, you're not gonna drop them as easily. They won't drop out of your stitches because they're so light. They don't have the weight to pull them down, and they are not that slippery. They are aluminium, and usually metal needles are very slippery, but they are not as they don't have that rough, well, rough is not the right word, but you have like Knit Pro Symphony. It's not, that's the colorful wooden needle from Knit Pro. This is smoother than that. This is smoother than all of the wooden needles, but it's not as smooth as like Knit Pro Zing, the other colorful needles from Knit Pro. Well, I don't really know how to describe it, but I really like these a lot. Addi Colibri, if anyone's interested. Now, let's put them away again. You're going in here, and you're going in there. And then I pulled out another sock project from upstairs, because I thought it was time to, I had finished 3 pairs of socks, so it was time to pull out another whip, right? Oh, you know what I wanted to say about these? Those are going to be my 30th finished pair of socks ever. 30th pair. Cool, right? Okay. Then the next what I pulled out from upstairs is the Ditter socks. Okay, the colors, the screen doesn't do it justice. The colors are so beautiful. And this is, I believe it's also free. So, whoa, blue. It's also free. Hello. I want to be a normal color. I don't want to be blue. Yeah, that's better. A little bit better. Anyway, yeah, I pulled these out because they are so pretty. Even the inside is pretty. Let me show you the inside. Okay, don't mind the knots and the places where I've woven in yarn and stuff like that. Look how pretty. So I'm planning on knitting the second sock of these. As soon as I've finished my 30th pair of socks, I'm gonna knit the second sock of these. I am using, I don't know how you pronounce that colorway. I think it's Spanish. It's from Chile, so it's definitely Spanish or Portuguese. I think Spanish. I don't know. Araucania, this. And in the base, Botany Lace is the fiber base. And I believe it's 100% merino. Yeah, 100% extra fine merino. And it's just fingering weight yarn. And I have these 3 balls from this sock. So, and I was thinking of doing it differently. The color order differently on the second sock. I was thinking maybe switch the blue and the yellow. So with blue on top and yellow at the toe. I think that would be really funny. But if I wear these in my shoes and I have those leather ankle boots, then I would show a blue and a yellow sock, and that would be weird. Kind of weird. I don't mind if it's a bit different, but that's very different. A bit too different, maybe. So maybe I should just switch the blue and the red. But then I like the blue a lot more than I like the red. And I want, you know, what's going to be left over of this yarn is going to be a scarf or a shawl. or something like that, because the yarn is so beautiful. Oh yeah, that's, no, don't turn blue. Don't go blue again. So you saw it for a second. Those colors, very up close, those were the right colors, the actual colors. Except for the yellow, because the screen is, now it's green. Okay, never mind. Anyway, I'm gonna change it, and I don't know how exactly yet. Ditter socks. Ditter. Oh, I have the pattern in here. I can show you the name of the pattern. It's free on Ravelry. Oh, I've been coloring something on it, but it's called Ditter. And it's by... oh, maybe I wrote it down actually. By Mintyfresh. No, that's a different pattern. I don't know why it's in this bag. Don't mind. So yeah, but it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. Ugh, it's beautiful. You cannot really see it, but anyway, that's a fun one to start next, or start second sock at least. So that's it for finished. No, for works in progress. I've showed my finished projects. Then we go. Let me check if I have them all. I think so. Yeah. Spinning objects. I've actually been spinning. Who would have thought that, right? I haven't spun in like half a year, and I've been spinning again. Yay! So I have one finished object, which is a hair. This is my my custom blend fiber, my own colorway in the Pirate's Gold colorway, and I spun it as a single ply yarn. This was some this was just some leftover yarn, leftover fiber, and it's 80 grams, and I turned it into, let me check, it was 83 grams, and it's turned out 309 meters, so it's definitely just fingering weight yarn, and it's single ply, and I love it very much. Look, it's so pretty. It's my Pirate's Gold colorway, which I actually have in my Etsy shop right now. Let me open it up. Whee. Can you see all that gold in there? Oh, don't you love it? I love it so much. And it's so drapey. It's lightweight and drapey. I like it. I think this is gonna be, I'm gonna put this in a shawl. Oh, look, you can see this is a really blue strand here. Light blue with white. The fibers that I put in this are black alpaca, baby alpaca, natural black baby alpaca. The orange color is bamboo. Then the white is a pearl fiber. And there's, let me check. I wrote it down because I can never remember. Oh, the rest is merino, and the gold is stellina, which is the same as Angelina. So yeah, don't you love it? I love it. It's turned out beautiful. I think I need to spin more of this, I think, and then turn it into a lovely shawl. But I want to knit shawls out of everything. I don't have enough time to knit shawls out of everything. So, but it's pretty. Yay. I do have this, what I knitted from. This is fiber braid. I have 4 of these in my Etsy store right now. So it's a blended top with all the different fibers. Look. This single was spun just from the braid. I had 80 grams of fiber, and I just spun it like right from the braid, because it's very airy and lofty and open, and you can easily spin from this. You can spin from the fold, or you can spin anyway with this fiber, but yeah. Pirate's Gold. Oh, I almost forgot. I also, but this is some time ago, when I put it in my Etsy shop, I wanted to have a small knitted sample. So, and I have different colorways. This is the Pirate's Gold, but I have Wizard Glass and I have different colorways. And so I wanted to spin a small bit and then knit a little sample for you to kind of see what it can look like if you spin it. So this was from the sample, and the sample I spun from the fold. I don't know, do you know spinning from the fold? You just break off one fiber length of fiber, one staple length of fiber, which is usually about this much, and you fold it over your index finger, or you pull out one staple length of fiber, you hold it over your index finger, some hold it over their middle finger or their thumb, and you just spin from here. And then when that's spun, you break off another bit and you spin from here. So that's how I spun this little sample. It divides the colors. It's one way of spinning a top. It divides the colors, and then I two-plied it. This is a little bit left over from that, and I knitted it into a hexie puff. I'm knitting a hexie puff blanket out of handspun yarns, which is crazy because I always use up all of my handspun yarn and I don't ever have any left over, but when I do, I knit hexie puffs out of it. And so this is what it looks like if you spin from the fold and then two-ply it. These socks, these were actually also spun from from a blended top like this one, but not from my own, but from SpinCity Fibers, from SpinCity UK. But I spun that in a different way. As you can see, it's stripy. This won't get stripy. This won't get stripy. This gets marled, semi-solid. If you want it more to look like this, then what I recommend you to do is just break off pieces of around 40 centimeters, so the length of the braid, basically, and break off 40 centimeters and then split it lengthwise in pencil rovings. Like they are around 1 centimeter wide, maybe 2, and so you can open the braid and just pull off a piece around here. And if I pull off this bit, then I would just spin black and gold together, and you spin all these colors after each other, and then you just two-ply it, and what happens is that you get stripes. So that's another way you can do it. That's my preferred way actually of spinning blended top, but with this one I just wanted singles for a shawl, because I like singles and I like shawls, and I should knit more. Because I don't have no time. I wish I had more time. Can anyone make the days longer? Or the weeks longer? Not the work week, but the weekend, of course. Okay, so let me put this aside. Down. Other news of spinning is I'm spinning. Look, some more spinning. You cannot really see it very well. This is a fiber I'm spinning. I'm gonna pull it out of the bag because otherwise you cannot see it and it wrinkles. I'm sorry. No, this fiber is from Natalie from Woolwisp. And I yarn and fiber, woolwisp.etsy.com. She's currently closed her shop because she's sick, but she will reopen it. And when she does, I highly recommend to check out her shop and her fiber because she is amazing and her fiber is too, and her yarns are too. This is 100% superwash Falkland wool in the earthen colorway. And I'm spinning it quite thin, as you can see. I'm really spinning it fine, a bit too fine actually. This would be a good thickness if I were going to 3-ply it into a sock yarn. This is going to be a 2-ply to knit into a shawl. It will probably end up around lace weight, between lace and fingering weight, if I would just 2-ply it now. But I know this fiber has so much crimp, and I like to spin woolen, so very airy, and with a low twist. I twist high on my when I'm plying, I ply with a high twist. But this, once it's done and when it has had its bath, it will poof up like crazy. I'm sure of it. And it will be around sport weights, I think. Although you would not think of it if you see it now, because it's quite fine. But yeah, I'm really loving this spin. I have to say I want to get it over with, because this has been on my wheel for I don't know how long. It's beautiful fiber. I absolutely love it. Beautiful colors. Don't do it justice. The camera doesn't do it justice. It's beautiful, and it's so soft, and it spins so easily. Look how pretty it is. But yeah, I want to get it over with, because I want to knit with this. I don't want to spin it anymore. I want to knit it. But I have to finish it before I can knit it, right? That's life. So yeah, but I think I'm gonna finish it tonight or maybe tomorrow. This is around 20 grams, I think. 15 to 20 grams left to spin. It's doable. It's doable. So yeah, sorry about the noise. Oh my god, I'm 45 minutes in and I'm not even halfway done. Yeah, I think I am halfway done. Okay, that was it for my spinning projects. Then I've been weaving as well. Last time I showed you, I just had my my loom, and I had a project on it. And that project is finished. Well, almost finished. You see a lot of yarn hanging. Those are gonna be little braids, but it is a shawl, a scarf, and it's really pretty. Look, and those are going to be little braids, as you can see. I did with one, but there are going to be around 80, 88, 80, I think, braids, little braids. No, I don't know. 120 divided by 340. Yeah, 80 braids. And I've made 2 so far. So yeah, I've got some more to make. But it's beautiful. Look up close. It's sparkly. You cannot really see the sparkle, I think. It's a gradient. But it's very subtle. As you can see, it's a bit, I think you can see that it's a bit lighter here than, yeah. This bit is a bit darker than here. Here it's a bit lighter. Whoa, my voice goes crazy when I do that. So let me put it around for a second. It would be a bit too short for my likings, but it's gonna be a gift for an older lady. And I think it would be perfect for her. Too. And then with the tassels being little braids, I think it's beautiful. Yeah. This color doesn't suit me because I have a very light skin, and this only makes it lighter. But the scarf is really beautiful. I just, yeah. The yarn I used, I don't know enough about weaving to tell you anything about it, really. I used 120, the weft was 120 threads, and I have a 40-10 rigid heddle loom. And that's all I can say about it. I used 210 grams of yarn from this, and the yarn is called soft soft glitter. It's a sport weight yarn that I bought from the Action. Action, I think it's only in the Netherlands and Germany. I don't know, maybe in Belgium too. I don't know if it's anywhere else too, but it's from the Action and they don't always stock it. So, yeah, a nice scarf, a nice gift for a nice lady. Oops, let's put it away again. And then I did weave something else. Yeah, I told you I have a lot to show you. This is a cotton tea towel, kitchen towel. Look. I am going to wash it in the washing machine. I made it out of cotton, just scheepjes, durable cotton, I believe. Some leftover from when I was crocheting amigurumi. I did with the sewing machine, I made sure that it wouldn't unravel, and I'm gonna put it in the laundry machine, the washing machine, and then afterwards I'm gonna sew this over to make it a nice finish. And then I have to cut all these threads on the wrong side, but it turned out a perfect size, and I think the fabric looks really fun. Yeah, so I'm not gonna repeat it because I hated changing all the yarns all the time. It was very annoying. So I'm not gonna do that again. But I am happy with the finished result, or almost finished result. It's not finished yet. So on to the next. Yeah, I'm gonna make some. I'm gonna speed things up a little. Then to show everything. Yeah. Then I did some dyeing too. I told you I have been crafting so much. I had to do stuff for school, and in 2 weeks I couldn't do any crafting at all. I was just bound to my chair, to my laptop, and didn't do anything, and I worked for like 10 to 12 hours a day and didn't do anything else. So when that was over, I could finally get back into things in my crafty world, and I did everything. So some dyeing too. I dyed a sock blank, which I really, really love. Oh my goodness. Okay, you cannot see it properly as usual. I'm gonna see if I can hold it up close. So yeah, that's a more accurate representation of the colors. And it doesn't look really pretty on screen. I don't like it if I see it like that, but I love it when I see it like this. It looks like there's a lot of white in here, but there's no white at all. And it's not that much lighter than the rest. It looks like there's a lot of white in it. It's not. It doesn't have white. The camera really doesn't do this justice, but it's so pretty. If I were you now sitting on the other side of the screen and I'm like you and I'm like, I don't like it. It does look pretty ugly. And I'm like here, wow, it's so pretty. It is pretty. I don't know how I'm gonna knit it. It's a double-stranded sock blank. For the guys who don't know what a sock blank is, a sock blank is just a knitted piece of fabric, white, and you can have it double-stranded or single-stranded, which is sock yarn. And double-stranded means it's knit with 2 yarns at the same time, and single-stranded is with just 1 strand at the same time. And this one is double-stranded, which means if I'm going to unravel it, it has some waste yarn on top. If I'm going to unravel it, if I were to knit socks out of it, I would get 2 exactly the same socks out of it. I don't like 2 exactly the same socks, so I would never do it like that. But if you do like it, then this is perfect for you. I'm not going to sell this, by the way. This is for me. And I think I'm not going to knit sock out of it, although I think they were going to be amazing. I think I'm going to use this as a yarn for a shawl or a scarf. Because, as I said, I'm totally in the mood for knitting shawls and scarves. And I want to knit them all. And I don't have time to knit them all. And I'm not even working on them right now. So, but a beautiful sock blank that you probably from that side of the screen think, no, beautiful, it's so ugly. But from in real life, It's beautiful, I can tell you. You just have to trust me on this one. Then, I've done some sewing. Yeah, some sewing. You might have seen these before because I had them in use. I made some needle cozies. Needle cozies are like, let me grab the socks because otherwise I cannot explain it really. You just you have your sock needles and they are sharp, and if you put them in your bag like this, they will pinch through like this. If you do it often enough, it will kill your bag. So, not a good idea, right? So what you do is you have a needle cozy. This one, that is actually gold and it sparkles for real. And it has a gingerbread man. How cute is that? A gingerbread man. It's very Christmassy. And I put in these snaps to close it. And what you do is just, you put your needles in here. And then you close the snaps. And you don't have the points that are so sharp. And you're not going to lose your stitches from your needles because it cannot go anywhere. It's perfect, right? And with this, you can just put it with your needle cozy in your project bag. It will easily fit in there. So I'm making a few of these for myself because I have to test them, right? And they succeeded. I've sewn a few of these for myself, but I'm also making quite a lot of them for my shop, for my Etsy shop. So, and those are for my 15mm needles. Yes, I usually use 15mm needles, but sometimes I use 20 centimeter, not millimeter, of course. 15 centimeters. Sometimes I use 20 centimeters. Lean, how hard can it be? Centimeters. Okay, yeah. 20 centimeter needles. So, I also make bigger ones. And these have 3 snaps because if you're knitting socks on your 20 centimeter needles, then the sock is still this wide. You know, the sock is not suddenly this wide. You can put a sock in here, but you can also use your 20 centimeters for like knitting sleeves or a hat or something. And then you can just leave this second one open and you have all this space to put your sock or your hat or sleeve or whatever you're working in here. So I'm gonna have some 20 centimeters and 15 centimeters. I'm making them and I'm going to put them in the shop. So keep your eyes open for that. Now let's put this one away again because it's too full. I don't have enough space for all my stuff. Okay, then, I did some more sewing. I made this super cool Fantastic Beast project bag. Look at this sniffler. He is so cute. He's the cutest, right? I love the sniffler. And he has stolen a watch. This is a Fantastic Beast project bag that I've been making. Look, I forget what she called. She has a name. Zora? No, I don't know. I don't remember. But Fantastic Beast. And I made it with faux leather, brown faux leather at the bottom. And it stays up. Wait. You cannot see it like that. But, well. The inside is black. It's lined. It has a brown zipper. It's lined. And I put in a red ribbon where you can hang your stitch markers. So they stay on the inside and they stay just nice and secure. Oh, maybe I can just show it to you. Oh, I can show it to you like this. It will stand up. You know, it won't. Well, if you do it enough, it will go down. But it will stand up on its own. Also when it's closed, by the way. Not just when it's open, but also when it's closed. This is the shape of it. And it has, I made it brown in the leather. So, yeah, it's really nice and sturdy, but light. And I really love it. And I made these for the shop. I'm gonna make zippered ones and drawstring ones. At the moment, I'm especially making drawstring ones because I like them more with this shape. I don't know. I like them to be drawstrings like that. I'm making a few of them in Fantastic Beasts fabric, but also Harry Potter fabrics and some very awesome, cool fabrics. And those will be up in my shop in a little while after I make them. I will update. I'll probably have a new episode recorded before. I'll do my shop update so I can tell you then about them. And I will post about them on Instagram, so you won't miss out. But I'm gonna have plans to make more of my Etsy shop because I haven't really paying attention to it lately. But I do want to make more of it and have future plans to make it really cool. So I want to do a very big shop update and then keep it going with smaller updates. So yeah, there's gonna be some sewing. And then the only thing left is stash enhancements. I was not allowed to buy new yarns unless I had a really specific project in mind. It was a beautiful yarn and I had a specific project in mind. Or if for a project I had in mind, I really didn't have the right yarn in my stash already. Okay, and I stick to that rule. I did stick to it. I didn't buy any of that. Anything else. So, but first, sorry for a minute. This was back in 2018. I ordered these in 2018, so I cannot be blamed for breaking my rules. It was 2018. It was not 2019, so it was no New Year resolution at that point. Okay. Rock and String Creations is on Instagram and Etsy. She dyes amazing yarn and she has some self-striping yarns and she had a sale around Christmas, so I had to have it. I have had fiber from her before. I've never had yarn from her before and I love her fibers. I don't really think she does dye fiber anymore lately. I haven't seen it, but I bought 2 skeins of her yarn. Let me show them individually because they take each other down. This is her Jitterbug sock yarn base. Yeah, of 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. It's a sport weight. So it's 100 gram and 326 yards. That's around 300 meters, right? I believe so. So it's a bit thicker. It's not fingering weight yarn, but this is the yarn weight that I like for my socks that I like the most. It is the colorway Radioactive Rainbow, and these colors are so incredibly bright. This is really like highlighter yellow and highlighter green and highlighter orange and pink, and maybe if I like that. No, it's really more of a fluorescent. It is a fluorescent rainbow. If you look her up on Etsy or Instagram, you'll see. This is the Radioactive Rainbow colorway, and it does do its name justice. Then, well, I'm not gonna order just one thing from the States because the import taxes are the same for one as for two. So I thought, well, I'm just gonna order 2 because this is also one that I really, really loved. This is the Roig Biff colorway, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. It's just a rainbow. Self-striping. Those are self-striping rainbow yarns. It's the same base, the same yarn, the same. I love them. Rock and string creations. And that same day, I have been eyeing Fab Funky Fibers for some of her self-striping yarn. And there's one colorway that I just wanted to have so badly. And it had been in my shopping cart, but always when I went to Etsy, it was sold out. And while I was shopping these, I saw in my shopping cart that the one from Fab Funky Fibers wasn't sold out. I'm like, huh? How's that even possible? So I ordered it, and then it was sold out. Sorry if you were there too. It doesn't look like much in the skein, honestly. But yeah, you should really. I have a skein of yarn. I have socks made from a skein of yarn of hers before, and that was also when I saw the skein. I was like, oh, I don't know if I really like this, and I knit it up, and it's the most amazing thing. The things really turn out as her pictures from Etsy. So that's something to keep in mind, because this, well, that's a white, doesn't really do it justice. Well, it does look good on screen, actually. Better than in real life. No, but seriously, I've had it before with her. When it came in, I was like, I don't know if I like it so much. But once you knit it, it turns out exactly as the pictures from her Etsy store, which is amazing, beautiful. So this is Fab Funky Fibers, self-striping, 100% superwash merino, also her sport weight yarn, which is 100 grams and 262 meters, 285 yards, in the colorway Dreamland. And it's going to be beautiful socks. So I have three rainbow self-striping yarns, which if you hold them together, they're very ugly individual. They tear each other down. This one is so pretty. This one is so pretty. This one is so pretty. But if you hold them together, not so pretty. Yeah, enough about that. Next, I found these two. They were $2.99, $1.99 by Kruidvat, which is really Dutch. I don't think. Oh, and you have it in Belgium. It's Glamour Garen. It has a Dutch name. And it's sparkly. It's so much prettier in real life. Oh, and there we go again. But it's so much prettier in real life than it is here. It's very beautiful. It's a mustard yellow with a bit of brown and sparkles. And it is the same yarn as this one, but from a different store, as this scarf, but from a different store. But it's exactly the same yarn, the same yardage, the same everything. And I'm gonna weave a scarf, the same scarf out of it, but a bit smaller and longer for myself this time. So the rainbow self-striping yarns were from 2018, and I specifically bought this with the scarf project in mind. I don't have anything on my loom right now, so I can start these right away. I've already calculated how many warp and weft, and you know, if you're, or you don't know, I don't know. And then there's one last thing. I'm at the final. Ooh, 1 hour and 10 minutes. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, this is the final thing I'm gonna show you. My boyfriend asked me when, because I've been knitting so many socks, and he asked me, when are you gonna knit socks for me again? I'm like, you have such big feet, you know. I don't want to knit socks for you. But yeah, and I'm like, but your mom knits socks for you all the time. But he wanted socks from me. okay. And he does wear them. He wears them all year long. He wears his knitted socks. He only wears knitted socks, I think, except for maybe in the summer. But yeah, I checked my stash. I honestly did, and I didn't have sock yarn in a heavier weight. I only had these. All of my other sock yarn is all fingering weight. So I decided to buy some, and I found these. These were 2, and you got 1 free. And I was looking at these, and I thought, oh, these are pretty. And then it was like, oh, and you get 1 free. And I was like, okay. So these are the colors. The yellow is deeper. It's more ochre kind of. It is the same yellow as you can there. That yellow in the door. That's the color this is. Yeah, I have yarn growing on my shoulder. So, but these are gonna be socks for him. I don't know how yet. They're gonna be socks. I don't know when. I don't know what kind of pattern. I've been looking at Ravelry, and I couldn't really find anything I like in particular. It's a DK weight yarn, and I'm gonna knit them, I think, on 3.25 millimeter needles. Yeah, probably. We'll see. I'm thinking about knitting some pattern, but maybe just stripes. Stripes would be nice, I think. But something else would be nice too. We'll see. I'm not in a hurry about it. So, people, that's all I had to show you. Oh my god, it was so much. And that's only for 1 month. It was so much. I'm so sorry, and it took so long, but I really tried to go pretty quickly about everything. So, in a short recap, I had a lot of finished stuff. And I'm planning on updating my shop in about a month or so. There will be lots of project bags and lots of needle cozies. I will also have a lot of hand-dyed fiber. And maybe some hand-dyed yarns, but a lot of hand-dyed fiber. I need to dye, but I ran out of some of the dyes, and I really need a mask for the dye fumes, because they are not so healthy. And every now and then dyeing something for myself is okay, but if I'm gonna dye more, then I should really need to have a mask, because I don't want to die from dying. Okay. Because then dying would be suicidal, and I'm not planning on any of that. So I won't have any handspun yarns in my shop. I used to have a lot of handspun yarns in my Etsy shop. They're about almost sold out, and the reason is that I have not been in a spinning mojo lately. As I told you before, my wheel has been silent for around half a year, I think. But I do want to knit with my handspun yarns, and every time I I want to knit something with my handspun, and I go up and I don't have that much handspun anymore because it's all sold. And I like handspun yarns, and I like working with my handspun yarns, so I want to keep some for myself. So there won't be a lot of handspun yarns anymore in shop updates, but there will be some hand-dyed fiber and a lot of other knitting related stuff. There will be, I think it will take up to about a month before I will do my big shop update. I'm working on things, but I have other stuff to do as well, although you might not think of it when you see all of this stuff here. But anyway, so I think I'll have a shop update. I cannot talk anymore. I'm talking for too long now. Okay, I think I'll make a new video episode in about a month or so, and we'll see what I have to show you then. Maybe a lot, maybe not. We'll see. So until I see you next time, I wish you all the fun in the world with all your crafts. Do whatever you like. Spin, knit, sew, do anything. Yeah. have a happy time. Bye!